Okay. Well, the first question we like to ask everybody is, hey, have you been patched yet? And here's what's going to happen if you haven't, or even if you have. Once you get patched, what's going to happen is this patch is going to elevate a peptide inside of you. And once that elevates, it's going to start to activate your cells, particularly your stem cells. And then at that point, your body's going to begin to regenerate, right? But go get that younger you back in place. And but we'd like to talk about this gentleman here. His name is David Schmidt, and he is the CEO and the founder of this patch. And he's the inventor, and he has over 200 patents to his name. And he started 20 years ago with the Navy SEALs. They hired David to figure out a way to keep these guys awake underneath the water in these specialized submarines for at least like 36 hours. And they didn't want to give them amphetamines. And David, who actually is not only is a scientist, inventor, he's just a strong man of faith, and to each his own there. But he believes God gave him this idea to create a two-patch system. It was a patch I can see here in my hand, but it was two of them that would work from light in the body. He invented it. No one has this technology. It's called a photobiomodulation patch, so he patented that. And these patches work to leverage the fat cells in the body of these athletes, basically these, well, super athletes, these Navy SEALs, if you will, and it gave them energy, and it worked. Well, that led to the women's Berkeley swim team finding out about these patches and using them. They began to best their times. That led to Michael Phelps during the Olympics wearing these patches. These are Olympic approved technology because you'll see later that nothing goes into the body, but clinically and scientifically, and it is profound on how this creates the effect it does for the body to optimize itself. Well, so what David began to do at that point is, let me make sure everybody mutes himself. I thought I muted everybody. Forgive me here, people. That's interesting. Is what David began to do is he go back to the screen here. Not that one. What David began to do once he saw success with this one patch is he began to create other patches. And then in 2008, he turned his attention to age reversal and stem cells. And over 10 years, 80 clinical trials, he finally got this one to figure it out and work successfully. It was his 39th patch. That's why it's called X39. And he got it patented by the United States government, a 31-page patent. And what happened at the time is the company was doing about 20 million a year with these other patches over 15 years. And then this patch gets released during COVID when all the world was shutting down, and the company shoots like a rocket. They go from 20 million to 80 million that year, 200 million the next year, 600 million last year. They're on their way to hit a billion this year. 86% of that sales worldwide in 80 countries now is coming from this patch. No advertising. It's all word of mouth. And so just think about that for a minute. How is that? And salespeople are hard to come by. Well, you don't need salespeople when you have word of mouth. And so if you have an effect on something, kind of like going to see a good movie or a restaurant, what are you going to do? Well, you go tell people at the office the next day. Well, you have an effect on your body that is a blessing to you. You're going to call your family and friends and let them know you found something. Take a look at this. And from that dynamic, this thing is spread like wildfire around the world. And you'll hear more about it. There's a documentary that's going to be done and produced on Netflix on David and this company because it is epic and it's pretty amazing. So here is this patent, right? 31-page patent. And here's a highlight inside of the patent what this thing is doing when you put it on you. It's going to elevate a peptide. In summary, it says here it's going to activate your stem cells. It's going to improve energy, elevate antioxidants, reduce inflammation, manage pain, improve stamina, elevate collagen production, improve wound healing, just to name a few. And that really is, the patch is simply the mechanism. Sorry about that, people. The patch is simply the mechanism that is getting this opportunity, this your body to optimize, bringing healing, repair, and restoration as if you were younger. And so the story is the first cell you and I were in the womb was a stem cell, right? And what did it do? Well, it morphed into every cell. The DNA told it basically into what we are today. But then by God's design, you and I are given a reserve of stem cells for healing and repair and restoration. And they're in our brain, our bones, our teeth, our organs, all throughout the body. So, like if you're 8 years old, you break a bone, what happens? Well, the brain said, I'm going to send stem cells there, and they morph into bone, marrow, tissue, ligament, joint, whatever the brain tells it. When you're 80 years old and you break a bone, guess what doesn't happen? That doesn't happen because your stem cell activity by the time you're 30, half of it is now dormant. And you know that after you turn about 18, you can begin to feel age is starting to set in, particularly by the time you're 30. And then by the time you're 60, 90% of that stem cell activity is now dormant. And clinically, the less stem cell activity you and I have, the faster we age, the slower we heal. And so, how does this thing work? Well, it's a proprietary form of light therapy, phototherapy. Not light from the sun that's hitting our skin and then the body elevates vitamin D. No, this is light that emanates from our DNA. If you and I put infrared goggles on and we're in a pitch black room with a bunch of people, we can actually see them, right? Why? Because everybody on the planet, all of us right now, are emitting infrared light 24/7. And that light has a frequency, and that frequency bounces off this patch. This patch is a nanocrystal technology, meaning it's just microscopic particles of amino acids and salts from plants, organic plants. And over 10 years, David figured out a way to array them in such a way that when the light hits it and reflects in the body, it would elevate this specific peptide. And when that peptide gets elevated, the brain then goes in the gear additionally and starts to turn on dormant stem cells. Fascinating. Don't know how he figured that out. He attributes it to God telling him what have you. We're just thankful for what it's happened for my family and many of my loved ones and friends of what this has done for us. And so it's using light to activate. And so it's light technology. There's over 200 peer articles at Harvard alone on light therapy. There's no side effects from light therapy. It's amazing, right? It's non-transdermal. I'm not getting a needle in my body and injecting someone else's stem cells, nor am I, extracting my own blood, spinning it, and re-injecting stem cells into my knee or shoulder. No, this is way better. I'm putting a patch on, nothing invasive. My brain says, I got this. I'm going to go to exactly where it needs it most, and I'm going to use these stem cells to start bringing healing, repair, and restoration. That is fascinating. And so you can bank on the fact that you'll find yourself getting stronger. If you're a weightlifter, you'll find yourself PRing your back squat, your bench press, or you'll just find yourself weightlifter not just getting a little bit stronger. And as we age, obviously that's really important. Reduce inflammation, anything with the word itis behind it, well, inflammation is behind it. Arthritis, tendonitis, whatever itis, increase stamina for sure, energy, vitality. I mean, my wife and I, we have 10 grandbabies, one on the way. We have 5 children. I just got back thanks to this amazing opportunity. I took all of them for my 60th birthday on an 8-day, 7-night cruise. I put the bill on that thanks to this thing, and I had a blast. And we just had a great time making memories. And when you can roll on the floor with your grandbabies and lift up luggage overhead to get in bins and do things, it's amazing to have that quality of life. And I'm thankful for this. Mental clarity. I used to have an 18-man advertising company for 10 years. I started from nothing and I was proud of it and worked my rear end off. And I'm telling you, if you're a business owner, the buck stops with you and that business kind of always owns you no matter what. And so for 10 years, I spent my life on a ton of stress. I didn't know I was under how much stress I was under until I got this patch on me. And 2.5 weeks in, my brain came into a state of balance that took my anxiety that I didn't even know was anxiety. I thought it was normal just to have the amount of stress I was going through as a business owner, thinking about 5 things at once to make sure everything was running right. And, and to have that come down about 85% to a dull roar. And the gap now is this gift called living in the present. I had no idea what living in the present was. And I used to, I wasn't proud of this. When people talk about, hey, my resolution for this year is I'm going to live in the present. I'm like, don't you have a life? I mean, aren't you thinking about next week, next month, next, quarter, having goals and jamming that all into today to go get it done? I'm a high energy guy. Well, I don't have that same stress mentality now. Now, when I'm with my grandbabies, I'm actually there. When I'm on vacation, I'm present. Where my shoes are at, I'm there. And I'm telling you, I had no idea that this was going to do that for me. And my sleep, my energy, focus, mental clarity, I'm just so grateful. And could you use some of that for you? Or I know somebody who could, right? Uh, well, we have a patch, right? Restored muscle skeletal condition. You have more collagen in your bones than you do calcium. I just heard this the other day. I didn't know this. Well, this thing elevates collagen like nobody's business. And so I have one of my former advertising clients. It's called Parkwood Dental. They're in Bradenton. They have a couple locations run by the Hernandez family. And Jody Hernandez is the daughter. She runs them all. She's an animal. She's awesome. She called me one day and I'm like, Jody, what's up? She goes, you're not gonna believe this. We had a patient come in and we could not put a post in their jaw because it was too, I guess, porous or brittle. I don't know what the right terminology is. I'm an advertising guy. And so we couldn't put the post in their jaw. So, but the patient came back a few months later for something else unrelated, and we ran another scan of their jaw for whatever else, and we realized their bone density was sufficient now for a post. And the only thing they did different was that. And she called me and said, never seen anything like this. And I was talking to a dentist the other day. He says, oh, Ken, you have stem cells in your teeth. I said, maybe that explains why my wife and I in the last 2.5 years haven't had any cavities because we were getting cavities prior to that. And so maybe it's just anecdotal. Who knows? But I tend to think maybe the patch, and improvement of skin appearance. It's just amazing. My wife used to have more wrinkles here, and now she doesn't. It's pretty cool. Here's a woman. They did an analysis of topography on her brain. She had inflammation in the brain, 77 years of age, lack of brain coherence, memory loss. And within 3 weeks, boom, her brain is back to a wonderful state. And 3 weeks after that is sustained. And that's what I experienced. I didn't know I was going through the same thing this woman was with anxiety and stress to have it then calm down. You have genes in your body that make up who you are, your height, your eye color, and hair, and all that. Well, about a third of them reset to a younger state. They don't change, they just reset to a younger state. And they turn on, actually, it's just a little over 4,000 genes. One of them is the stem cell, one that turns on stem cells. And it's pretty crazy. And resveratrol in red wine gave red wine notoriety for being healthy years ago because resveratrol reset two genes. This patch, over 4,000, right? Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. Told you about that. Collagen in the body is increased. Hey, your hair, like I used to have a gray splotch of hair in my hair here, and I don't any longer. And my eyebrows are grayer now, they're not. I'll take it, right? My fingernails grow out faster. I don't like that. Got to cut them more. And my hair grows out, although I got grows out faster. I used to get my hair cut like every 4 to 5 weeks. Now I could go about every 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And this is really powerful. Um, Actually, also my wife, her hair is definitely longer. It was getting shorter and now it's longer. And she says, hey, I feel like I got my high school hair back. So a lot of women, as they get older, they start losing hair in the shower, don't like it, put a patch on. Maybe you may see what we see. Within 6 months, your cardiovascular becomes younger by about 8 years. They ran a study of 15 people. 14 of them had their cardiovascular reduce in age by about 8 years. I had a friend of mine who had to go to the hospital because a woman bumped into him while he was riding his bike, and she's driving. So he ends up in the hospital, gets hit by the car basically. And they did a full body scan. Oh, Mitch, you have a stretched aorta. 35%. You got to come back in less than 12 weeks for giving you bypass surgery. He puts the patch on for pain management, comes back 12 weeks later, and the doc says, can't explain this, but you no longer need your bypass surgery. And so we were talking to a Dr. Adam Shiner after that at a convention. Now, Dr. Adam Shiner, he's in Tampa. He's been on Dr. Oz. He's famous for eyelid surgery and facial surgery. Well, he requires his patients to wear this patch 1 month before having surgery because he shows on his site they heal in days versus weeks. Like, see this person here at 10 days? Now look at this person here at 5 weeks. Who looks better? Right? And so we went up to him and said, hey, this healed my friend's heart. He goes, well, I can tell you why that is. And we're like, yeah, doc, please do. He goes, because your DNA is always talking to your brain. And the DNA said, I made your heart to look like this, but now, I mean, make it look like this, but now it looks like that. And the brain says, I'll go ahead and fix it. And I thought that was profound that that's what's happening. And that's an MD perspective. I'll take it. So if you got friends and family that have suffering from heart issues, share a patch with them. It may bring some hope to them. Heart disease is the number one killer of Americans today. Cancer is number two. So, how do you wear the patch? Well, it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off. You don't want to continue to wear the patch because the body gets used to it and it goes into a homeostasis. It gets used to it. So, you need to take it off and let the body rest, rejuvenate, repair, do this stuff, and then put a new one on and it will elevate again. So, also, this is made of organic material. Remember, I said from plants and things. Well, the heat from the body eventually is going to degrade the patch. So, you're going to want to put a new one on too as well. So, it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Now, there is a clinical term for this. I don't know what it is, but it's in the patent as well and why it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off. But that was just in the layman's terms, what the logic is. So you put it next to your toothbrush in the morning, slap it on. You can put it on anywhere on the body. Now they test it, as you see here, behind the back of the neck at one consistent time, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And then another time they tested it 2 inches below the belly button because they had to get the patent. And you can't keep moving around. They had to have a consistency, and this is where they did it to get the patent. But you can put it anywhere on the body. You can see I'm wearing it on my hand here. And because the light is spread throughout the whole body, and once it's on you, the brain knows it, and the brain is really what's doing the work, not the patch. Just like if you touch your fingers like that and you feel that, yeah, well, how is it? Because the brain is telling you what's happening. As soon as you put this on, the brain knows it knows what's happening, and it begins to go to work. So you don't need to wear more than one patch at a time. As you can, there's no need. And most people are dehydrated today. It's important. Drink plenty of water, meaning take your body weight, divide it by two. So say you're a person, a woman, maybe who weighs 128. Well, if you divide that by two, that's 64. Well, 64 ounces. So you take your weight, divide by two. That's how many ounces you should drink. Well, 64 ounces is technically half a gallon. That's why I use that analogy. Well, put a quarter teaspoon, just a quarter teaspoon and a half a gallon of a Celtic salt or a Baja Gold salt. And that will give you, it's natural, it'll give you all the trace minerals you need and all the electrolytes you need. And that will help to optimize how this patch works in your body too. So you can see that this is a very simple, sophisticated technology. It's probably one of the most prolific technologies on the planet. And it's one of the reasons why this company is the fastest growing company in the world in the relational marketing space. Meaning, think about Mary Kay, eXp Realty, Ameriprise Financial. These are all relational marketing companies as well. Well, ours out of 7,000 in the world, we're the fastest growing in the world, second year running, no advertising budget, off of word of mouth, 80 countries. Why? Because this patch is miraculous. And and the key is on the patch. You're not going to feel some just the first day. And how long did it take you to get to where you're at? It's advised to wear the patch 1 month for every 10 years of life. Now, realistically, and the founder will tell you, 97% worldwide of those who wear this patch for 90 days see noteworthy gains. The reality is, the moment you put it on you, it's going to work. You're not going to feel your bone density getting thicker. You're not going to feel your cardiovascular getting younger, but these things are occurring. But beautifully enough, I'd say 2/3 of my friends within the first 30 days are like, I can't believe, this, that, or the other. And so, and why 1 in 5 to 1 in 8, maybe 15% are usually a one patch wonder. They'll call me the next day. I can't believe how well I slept. Or I can't believe the knee pain I've had for years. I don't have it right now. But you don't know what your body's going to do. And so you got to give an opportunity to do what it's going to do and give enough time to do it for you. But just know that it's working. And but that's up to you to believe. You have to look at the patent, the studies. And that's why, remember, you cannot patent a placebo. This is a patented technology under the United States on the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. They define what we are as a wellness patch. So we're defined as a wellness patch as the FDA. And since it's not a drug, we don't have to clinically prove there's no side effects. There's no side effects from light therapy. So this is Olympic approved technology. It's not a drug. Nothing's going in your bloodstream. So it's safe. It doesn't matter what kind of medication you're on. No contraindication with any kind of medication. My dad, at the time when I got turned on to this 3 years ago, was 280 pounds, 5'10", one kidney, 12 medications, never took care of himself, wasn't doing well. Then he gets COVID. Now I had to get him a walker because he walked around all day long after that with his head down, hard from the breathe, never had enough energy. And we took him to the doctor. Oh, George, your lungs are scarred. Great. Now I'm going to put him in an assisted living facility. I said, Dad, I found this patch. Just stick it on you. I don't know what it's going to do for you, but all those 12 medications you're on, it does not going to conflict with them. Just put it on. 2 weeks in, I don't feel anything. And I thought it was going to help him with his neuropathy because in 1 week, it helped my dear friend in 1 week with her neuropathy. She called me up, Ken, you got to come look at my legs. I said, Kelly, why do I want to look at your legs? Because they were purple last week and now they're clear. I said, what are you talking about? I said, I have neuropathy, but look at my legs. I said, oh, maybe this helped my dad and his purple legs. And I call him up, Dad, put the sticker on you. Just keep wearing it. Well, 2 weeks in, I don't feel nothing. My legs are still purple. Dad, keep the sticker on you. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. 5 weeks in, 5 weeks, he calls me, Ken. Hey, what's up, Dad? I can breathe again. It was late at night. And I thought it was delirious. I said, okay, that's great. No, buy me a plane ticket. Go see Brittany in Louisiana. It's my daughter and the great grandbabies. I'm like, hey, Dad, I hope you're feeling good. But listen, you can't walk 20 feet with your walker. You're not going anywhere. I love you. Have a good night. 6 weeks later, he's in an Uber to Tampa International Airport, gets on a plane on his own, flies out to Louisiana to visit Brittany and the great grandbabies. His lungs restore themselves. Blew my mind. I'm on the phone with my clients, my family and friends saying, listen, you got to try this patch. I mean, if it did that to my dad, what do you think it could do for you? I don't know. You tell me, put it on, you know? And so I was super excited. And my dad got a quality of life. And eventually he did pass away, a couple years later, because you can't be that kind of weight and think your body's going to put up with that over time, and not basically take you out. And but he got a quality of life thanks to this patch. His sleep got way better, just things got better. He got to be with us during Christmas, go out with restaurants and things. He could travel, be mobile and versatile. Before, he couldn't. Thank God. And so grateful. But what are you thinking about for people you love and care about? And what about for you? And what I'm going to do is, as we round the corner of this presentation in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to share, how much the patch is, how you can get some if you want it. I'm also going to talk about how people are getting rewarded financially to share it. And so you'll get to decide at the end of this here shortly if you, like I said, just want to do more research, you want to get some patches, or that you'd like to hit the go button on this rewarding program offered to those who share it. And I'll premise that by sharing my story. When our dear friend Joyce Johnson called me back in August of 2022 to share about this patch, she had been in a car wreck years earlier. Twice she had been rear-ended, and they had to put 4 titanium discs in her neck. From that point on, she had severe neck pain, throat swallowing issues, weird kind of anomalies in her body that would limit her from getting outside the house many times. And we go visit her. And one day she calls us and said, hey, my pain's gone. And not only is my pain gone, my migraines are gone, but my sister with her bone-on-bone knee pain that's so bad she's going to need surgery, her knee pain's gone. And I said, what are you talking about, Joyce? And she says, this little stem cell reactivation patch. It turns on dormant stem cells. I said, what are you talking about, dormant stem cells? And she sent me a link. Now I'll show you that in a minute. And I did a research, and this is amazing. I said, listen, I'm already in good shape. I do intermittent fasting. I do CrossFit. And I'm, at the time I was 57 years old. I just turned 60. And I do handstand walks, muscle ups. And I learned to do all this when I was in my 50s. And because I got my life back with better health. And I said, but none of that turns on my dormant stem cells. And you're telling me that everybody has stem cells worldwide, and by the time they're 30, they're dormant, and no one in the world has this technology, and it's completely safe, and it's about $3 a day. I was like, what's the biggest batch of stuff I can get? I'm going to mail out to my family and friends, tell them to put it on them until it happens. And since it's Olympic approved, it's patented, it's FDA, it's safe for babies to grandmothers, all points in between, then who couldn't use the ability to turn their own stem cells back on? And so we did. We bought the largest pack of this stuff you could get and began to mail it out. And my daughter, the first day, calls me of wearing this, and she'd given birth to her Kendall May, her third child, months earlier. And after that, she had postpartum hair loss. She had brain fog issues, just emotional stuff going on. And the first day she calls me wearing the patch, she says, Dad, you're not going to believe this. My brain fog is gone. I said, what? Yeah, brain fog is on. And I just cleaned all the drawers in my girl's room, and I cleaned the closet out too, making room for the baby. And I have room to spare, and I've been dreading that. I can't believe I feel this good. I said, that's amazing, Brittany. I've been wearing this patch for a week. I don't feel nothing yet, you know. And your mom's still having hot flashes 10 to 20 a day, and she's wearing the patch. So good for you. Her husband calls me a day after him wearing it. Hey, Mr. Burke, I taught all 8 hours of the Coast Guard, and I was focused. went and mowed 4 yards after that on my riding mower. I usually have back pain, neck pain, hip pain. I had none of that pain after. I said, "Wow, Stephen." And then I sat down, ate with the girls at 7:30, Brittany and the three daughters, and I was focused. I didn't feel like jumping up to watch the fishing channel. I said, "Man, that's amazing." And, because we don't feel anything yet. But day 21, my wife, the 10 to 20 hot flash a day, it was September 9th. It was a Monday, it was a holiday. And I remember she woke up and said, Ken, I think I only had one hot flash last night. I feel different right now. Well, she was different. Those hot flashes pretty much came to a dull roar, maybe one or two a week thereafter, if that. And she had this thing, it was a fight or flight syndrome going on, which now we know is part of menopausal anxiety. We didn't know that's what it was at the time, but that went away, and then she had hip pain for years after giving birth to five children, at night, and different times. Oh, my hips hurt. And I'm like, can you massage my hips? And that went away, and I'm like, wow, and so we got excited and we began to share this patch with friends and family and just tell them about it, get their eyeballs on a Zoom like this, let them make a decision what they want to do. Within about 90 days, I'd enrolled about 60 people. Now I was already working 50, 60, 70 hours of work a week running my advertising company. I did not have time for a side hustle. But belief makes room for itself. When you and I believe something, we'll tell people. And there's a simple way. When I was talking about the patch, I would spend 2 or 3 minutes just to say, hey, listen, I've come across this. You know what it is? No, well, here's a quick snapshot. What it is? Here's what I did for my wife. What's doing for my kids. Hey, is this something you'd like to learn more about for you? Well, there's a great Zoom going on tonight, and it will tell you all about it. Oh, Ken, tell me more. And I'd say, listen, the Zoom's going to tell you all about it, but I can send you a link. This thing right here. This is it. Info.com. And you can just watch the first video on there, and in 3 minutes I'll unpack what this thing is. But you can see all the patents, the studies, the government articles, doctors, everything chiming in. How if I send you that? And what that did is that cleared me from trying to sell the patch. And I just invited people to get on a Zoom or take a further look, and then I get back with them. And so I could stay busy running my advertising company, stay busy running my life, because we say it's your God, it's family, and then your work, and then this. Don't move that order. And so it's a beautiful system. And, and since the company already was like a rocket ship, I told you here, from 20 million to over 600 million, and now they're going to $1 billion this year, and, I had something that, we could latch onto potentially. And they're a well-oiled machine. Well, the company takes 60% of their revenue, 60%, and they push that back to those who share this with people like I was. And I was sharing before that in 90 days or so, I'd enrolled about 60 people to try these patches. And some people got excited and they started enrolling people kind of like I was too. And I remember my wife and I went on a cruise for 2 weeks. We went to Hawaii and hit these 5 Hawaiian islands. And then that ship went down all the way 4 more days down to Bora Bora. I was away from civilization for 2 weeks. And I came back $2,500 richer. And I said, oh my gosh, the light bulb went on. That's the first time in my life I did not have to put my foot on the gas to make that money. And the collective efforts of other people who I didn't even know who they were, but they were excited sharing the patch, was compounding out, word of mouth. And I called my kids and said, listen, we're all busy in life. You don't have time for much anything else in life. Make sure you're wearing the patch and sharing this patch, because this company is going to give you some added income. It's going to offset this stupid thing of inflation that's really crushing a lot of people and can help your family too. And we got excited. So we continue to share. Well, we were following a system that this couple here, Stephen G and Amir on the left, they're in the black and white and black shirt. They came aboard this company 39 months ago, and they hit the highest rank as a distributor in 23 days. That usually took 4 years to do. And that potentially meant 25,000 a week, potentially. And when my friend told me this about the past, she also told me about this couple. And at the time, I had an advertising company that I could have sold prior to COVID and retired. COVID came, changed the advertising industry, crushed my business down to a dull roar, and I was going to have to reinvent the thing. I was under a lot of stress. I was watching friends of mine who were policemen and firemen retiring, going fishing, and I was thinking about how to reinvent my life all over again. And the stress was crazy. And when she said they hit the highest rank in 23 days and they're going to implement a system that other people could follow, the light bulb went on. I said, just Lord, what's the chance I might be able to get some hope from this too? And so we began to share the patch. Well, within 11 months, we hit the highest rank in the business while I was still working, running my advertising company. And 11 months after that, we were making 4 times what we paid ourselves. And my attorney and my business broker came to me and said, "What are you doing working all these hours over here to make this much, where you have a minimal investment, no employees, no overhead, but you're making this much over here?" And so we set the company up for sale. I paid all my team very nicely, a couple of them for 1 year thereafter. And the company, because I can cherry pick if I want to sell or not, and the amount of money we're making now, it's almost a distraction. A year and a half later, that was June of last year. And so we've been, just blessed. And so we're part of this amazing team. But you want to ask yourself the question, if you may be someone who's seen what I saw, all of us has to give time up, to go work, obviously. And hey, 85% of people today, according to most research and magazines and such, just Google it, are not happy in what they do. And I was that way. And that's a lot of time that you and I have to give up to go do something we need to do, but something we really don't want to do or like to do, but we don't have to do. And is that really how life should be? And what if, just what if, that this opportunity could be something of a blessing to you by leveraging your efforts through the efforts of others, by scaling with impact without having to scale your time clock of 40 to 50, 60 hours a week, because you and I can only work so much and earn so much. But if our efforts are duplicated and all those efforts can begin to pay us, then isn't that a blessed thing? I mean, isn't that why people do real estate and, buy more doors, get more houses, buy apartment complex, so they can have residual income coming in? Well, this is similar to having that, where you have other people who get excited, begin to share patches, and you get a piece of all that from just starting it. And it all starts like this. It starts with you sharing with 2 friends on your left and 2 friends on your right to get a left team and a right team in place. And when you do that, and I'll share that what more that is in a minute here, but just the simplicity of this is you get some patches and you call your family and friends you love and care about and that you believe that they need to be on these patches with you too. And say out of the friends you call, you get 4, 2 left and 2 right to get on some patches with you. Well, then you begin to open up yourself to a team and get paid a team commission. And that it gives you the ability to eventually get to $25,000 a week. I know that sounds crazy, but my wife and I, we actually, thank God, we actually make more than that now, thanks to this opportunity. And we don't mind sharing that. Not to say, look at us. I'm saying, look at you. I have 4 other people on my team who make more than we do. And, and how is it when you have a 24-year-old out of college who's making $1 million a year, a 63-year-old rancher, a single woman who lives in a town, and she didn't even live in a town. She lives Penny Carpenter. She lives in a ranch, and her closest town is 629 people, is in the Panhandle of Texas. She hit the highest rank in this business. We have an 81-year-old grandmother out of Puerto Rico hit the highest rank in the business. Me and my wife, who've never done this business before, we hit the highest rank. And listen, 40 hours a week, you could never hit the highest rank. You have to have the collective efforts of other people getting it done. And it all starts right here. I had to start calling my first friend up. Hey, I found something. You need to take a look at this. Call another friend up. You're not going to believe this. Take a look at this thing. And I began to share with people. And it's easy to do when you believe something, and when this patch does something for you, then bam, that belief system goes up. And then it's easy to want to go share with people you love and care about. And getting 4 of them, it's not that hard. And then if you replicate that play, now you enroll some people, 2 friends left, 2 friends right, and then then some of those people, and you continue to enroll people, and then you're going to find people who want to do what you did. Get 2 friends left, 2 friends right, and then 2 friends left, 2 friends right on both sides. And so what happens is your team gets bigger as you're all implementing this foreplay, of this play on words, and you put this foreplay through the team. Well, if you knew nothing about how this company pays, and you simply just process down through that and fuel the fire, if you will, of word of mouth, and that's this structure here. You get paid all the ways the company pays. It's such a beautiful, simple structure, And but as I mentioned here, this eventually can go to $25,000 a week. My wife and I have never hit that number in this way, but this third way, the first way we get paid are just little bonuses, but this is the second way we get paid. The third way is here, and this is where we make, a lot of money, and we're very blessed. And that's because the company wants to reward you and me when we enroll somebody who does something. And so you enroll somebody and say they start making 1,000 a week in that team commission structure you just looked at, you're going to get a 25% bonus of whatever they're making, whether they're making $10 a week or $25,000 a week. The company's going to pay you a 25% bonus every week they're making whatever it is they're making. Now, that person you enrolled, they enroll somebody that you may or may not even know, but that's going to be your second generation. The first person you enroll, everybody you enroll, that's your first generation. Now, when all your friends that you enroll, they enroll somebody, that's your second generation. You get 20% of what are those people begin to make. And then that second generation group of people, they enroll somebody, the computer sees that as your third generation. You get 20% of where those people are making. So 2/3 of our income comes from this right here. And it is a blessing and of power of compounding income through the efforts of others. And it's been such a blessing. And if, hey, we do have a video that the person who invited you could give you a 5-minute real or a 13-minute real quick breakdown that really shows more in this. But I'm just telling you, if you go back and realize there's 2 friends left, 2 friends right, and then you bang and help other people get their 2 left, 2 right, and that replicates, it's a beautiful structure. And how it starts is you buy product. You either can, and you get it at a wholesale rate. You can pay retail, right? Retail for this product is an envelope here. It has 30 patches inside of it. And you open it up and you'll see, 30 patches inside of here. You just take one out, put it on, and that's a 1-month supply, that you have for yourself. And usually that's $149, worth every penny. But why would you want to pay that when you get at a wholesale rate of $99 for a 1-month supply? About $3 a day, $3.32 a day. And what you can do is you can actually get it cheaper. You can buy a kit, a pack of either 3, 6, or 20 that you see here. A Core Advanced Premium, that's a 3, 6, or 20 pack. One time. You can't buy that again. You can only buy it one time. And then after that, a month later, you get on a monthly subscription of a 1 or 2 sleeve sitting here at the bottom that you see here. And but what this does is it gives you the ability now to get product that you can begin to share with family and friends. How many people do you have in your home? Do you have any, there's 3, 4 of you? Well, that 20 pack is really going to be sufficient because you're going to wear this 1 month for every 10 years of life. You're probably going to need more than 20, but you can't buy more than 20. But the 20 pack gives you the ability to get at the lowest possible rate, get it for $87.50, not $99, right? Or you get a 6-pack. If it's you and your wife, you get one for you, one for her, and then you got 4, that you can actually share. And and if you're thinking about the concept of sharing this, let's talk about that first, then we'll come back to just buying it for your family. Then the company pays you all the ways, you can get paid all the ways the company pays you if you buy a 6 or 20 pack. 6-pack here, a 20 pack. You make all the ways the company pays. And then after that, you get on, and 1 month later, you go on a 2-sleeve monthly subscription. And that's how this thing was built. For me and my wife to make 7 figures, our overhead, we bought a 20 pack. And within less than 2 weeks, we made our money back by sharing the product, and which is awesome. And then we got on a monthly subscription. 90 days later, because when you buy the 20 pack, you can push your monthly 2-sleeve subscription out 90 days. And listen, I'm going to buy 2 of these, one for me and one for my wife, whether we're making money or not anyways, because I'm going to wear this product. So I don't even call it overhead, but that is the requirement. A company makes it so easy, it's crazy to build this business that your requirement to build the business is 2 sleeves, one for you, one for your spouse or loved one. And for us to make 7 figures, my overhead is just 2 of these. That's it. I don't know of any business in the world, a lawn care company, a realtor, that you can make this kind of money with that little bit of an investment. I think the only thing cheaper would be, and I don't like to be funny, would be a 3rd-grade lemonade stand. My degree is in finance, so I just think this is absolutely fascinating. That I have no employees, I have no overhead. I don't have to make the patches. I don't have to worry about paying people, worry about payroll, none of these things. I don't have to inventory product, not that either. I don't have to worry about making my own website, my own social media program, none of that, right? All I got to do is buy some patches, begin share some patches, and then help people learn how to do the same likewise and get in that structure of 2 left, 2 right. And it's pretty powerful. So, but we got that 20 pack, and because I believe in the law of abundance, and in any business, I understand the laws of success, and abundance is a success principle in any business. Doesn't matter what it is. And so that's why I said, what's the biggest I can get? Because I look at this like seeds. And so when I bought the 20 pack, that gave me basically, since I was going to not have to worry about pushing two sleeve monthly maintenance for 90 days, I could take two for me and my wife now, two for me and my wife next month, two for me and my wife the following month. So I took that six out of there. That gave me 14 of these left over. And then from that 14, I could do a place and replace program, meaning when I would enroll somebody, and I then have patches on me say, listen, I'll front you one of these now so you can start wearing it today because yours aren't going to come in for another 3 to 5 days. And then when you get yours in the mail, just send me a new one back to me. And that helped get people excited about wearing patches because some started getting results pretty quickly. And and that kind of got the fire going by having that 20 pack. Now, if one can't afford the 20 pack, you can get the 6 pack. It's $535, gets the thing down to $89 each. And that gives you two, one for you, one for your spouse, and then four to get started with. And then next month, the $199 would start. And here's the deal. Everything I'm talking about is a 30-day money back guarantee. So you can click off anytime and get your 30-day back money guarantee at any point. So no one's ever locked in. Now, you can also upgrade if you start at 535. You can also upgrade to the 1750 for the difference when you're ready at whatever point you want to. And then once you do that, you'll get the other 14 sleeves and you can push that monthly maintenance out 90 days at that point as well. So, and if that doesn't make full sense, talk to the person behind you. They can share it with you. I understand I may talk quickly and so it's okay. But just know that if you want to get the price at the product, the lowest possible price point, the 20 pack is the best way to do it. 6 pack is the next way, and the 3 pack, those are someone who wants to kick the tires. You still get it for $295. That's about 98 bucks each, and you're limited to $100 a week on that. And but that's still, if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. If you can just get the product on you. But if you're married, really at a minimum, you want to wear this for 1 month for every 10 years of life and at least 90 days to be able to give yourself the real one ray. Well, what's your spouse going to do? And so as you're wearing this, right, they're going to be having to wait for you. And I'm telling you, you want both you wearing this because one of you is going to have a result faster than the other, and it's going to encourage you. And then you're going to start thinking about, okay, we know people we love and care about, they need to be on this too. So that you can see kind of how this thing takes a life of its own and why you want to be able to get as big as kid as you can realistically afford to start and then get on that 2 sleep monthly subscription so you get rewarded all the ways the company pays. If you do the 1 sleep monthly subscription, there is a benefit there. And you get to hold, there's a bank of points that are occurring that turn into dollars. And just know they don't flush. Otherwise, they'll flush every month. And as long as you have a 1 sleeve being purchased every month, then the volume that's happening underneath you, because what happens is when you came in, you get put on a left or right team. Well, whoever is above you, there's not a pyramid, pyramids are illegal, but on the computer system, whoever is above you, whenever they put somebody on, by default, the computer is going to put them below you. And whatever they purchase, that's going to get credit to you as well. And everybody going down below you, all those people get credited back to you, even though you didn't put them in. And as long as you're on a 1 sleep monthly maintenance, the volume that's occurring there is going to accrue in a bank waiting for you. And once you got a 2 sleep monthly maintenance, then they'll begin to release some of those monies, if you will. But if you're not on that, then all that money is basically points that turn the money are going to flush every month. So that's just a side note of why, if you're going to build a business, either get a 6 or a 20 pack, one-time purchase, can't do it again. And then next month, make sure that 2 sleep monthly maintenance begins to kick in, or 90 days later, another 20 pack. So that's pretty much how this system starts on if you want to hit the go button on the comp plan, or if you're thinking about getting past for you and your family and friends. Well, you just saw right there, get that 6 or 20 pack to get it down to the lowest possible price point. You don't have to go on any kind of monthly subscription. You can always wait to do that later, and if you want, once you become a believer, because most people, once they believe it, the first thing is like, okay, I believe this stuff really works. I'm calling my best friend, my mom, my dad, whoever, and I'm going to get them on that. And if the company's going to reward me for it, then let's do that, because I'd rather get my patches for free than have to pay for them, right? And then you can upgrade from there as far as getting on a 2 sleep monthly subscription and work with us, and we'll help you get, share this with your family and friends. And you are part of a team. We have an amazing team, and we would love to be able to team up with you. We have Zooms that occur almost every night of the week like this that you can plug people into. We do private Zooms for you as well. And And we can do three-way calls. If your family and friends have questions, it's on. We can help answer that for them, just to make it easy for you to get started because we want to help you get your first four people if you're ready, right? And because that's what opens up everything. Um, so that basically is how this thing starts. And so if you're a three, like I said at the end of this presentation, now you're someone who would like to just do more research, take a look at the thisisitinfosite.com. It's going to give you everything that you want to see, and then some. All the research is there. Oh, and by the way, I just tell you straight up, when you succeed like we've succeeded, it brings all the crazies out of the woodwork. So you have the Chinese right now making false patches and selling them for like 20 bucks at Walmart. It's completely illegal, but you can find these things. They are not these patches. Buyer beware, right? And then you have other people trying to dump this on eBay and wherever else on Amazon. I'm telling you something, you can get it probably cheaper from us, but those people are in violation. They get fined if they get caught. We have subpoenas out to all the major big boys. It is just what it is. It is what it is. And just know you don't know if that product's been sitting on a hot dock somewhere, and because you don't want this product in the heat. And I don't know if you're gonna. And so you're buying it from people who are cheating the system. But here you buy it through us. It's usually gonna be cheaper. You're gonna get a full product guarantee, and you get the support of a team who loves and cares about you and can help you win big by getting this product to other people. And so just a heads up, afterwards. But in the meantime, the company is rocketing. We're on a rocket ship, people. Fastest growing company out of 7,000 in the world, because this patch, it creates results that changes lives. My autistic granddaughter, I have 10 grandbabies, autistic granddaughter, nonverbal, non-focused. Won't even look at me, talk to me, know who I am, connect with her cousins. February 10th, we get the patch on her. And immediately, to the amazement of her therapist, the next day, they're like, well, how's Liliana? Why is she not focused? Over a year later now, she has progressed so wonderfully. She looks at me, she smiles. She'll hug me, she'll laugh. That is completely changed. Anytime we get this patch on a child on the spectrum, the first thing the parents tell us is, hey, my child is focused. And I could go on and on and on about what we've seen and why we're so excited. And I pray that you see what we see and you get to know what we know because you peel the layers back on this patch, on our team, on the founder, on this company. There's no one perfect, but you're going to find integrity and you're going to find blessings and you're going to find trust. And that's how you build a life with a product that's a game changer and a team that cares. And so my wife and I have financially, this thing set us free. So we don't have to be on this call right now. No one can buy enough product to even move our needle. So why do we get on this call? Because I found in life that you can only golf so much and travel so much, and you get the new car smell of money kind of wears off. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to be making crazy money, but when you realize if you can make an impact on someone else's life, your cup gets filled. And so me being on this call tonight with you, it's an honor because if I can help you see what we see and help you begin to experience what we experience, and then help put you in a position financially to get rewarded like we rewarded, then financially you get the gift that you can't otherwise have. It's called time. And no one has time if they still have to go to work every day. Unless you truly love it, God bless you. But if you don't have to go to work, you have a gift now called time. And there's no way to get there unless you have enough money to do it. And we have an opportunity, no promises, no promises, no guarantees, but we have an opportunity that potentially could do that for you. What do you see? Alrighty. Well, let the person know what you'd like to do. It's been an honor for me to be with you. And I hope I get to see you on the next Zoom with some other friends and family you've invited because I'd love to be able to help show them more about this amazing opportunity for them, just like I have for you. And so, well, thank you. It's been an honor to be with you tonight. And so look forward to hopefully seeing you again on another Zoom. And so everybody have a blessed evening and a good night.